Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I have a very important report for you, and I was going to publish this as a PDF. I still will probably do that, but the information is all together, and it's very important that I share this information with you as soon as possible so you can start sharing it with like minded individuals that are seriously concerned about the future of the sequence of events that we are all experiencing right now. It's a hard time, folks, and this is a very big report. This is information you will find nowhere else. I've looked through all the mainstream media, and nobody is beginning even looking at this the way I'm looking at it. And it's within, it's coming within, folks. There's this light within me, and the light is put me under this conviction to share a moment with you folks that everyone should have knowledge of. Every 20 years, there is a cycle that the solar system plays, which links two of the largest planets that revolve around the sun. 2,000 years ago, the Magi, which were considered the three wise men in the Bible, were following a star. But it really wasn't a star. It's actually a conjunction of planets, a conjunction of two planets that make it look like an amazing star. And this conjunction happens every 20 years. What actually happens is I'll show you with this new conjunction that we're looking at that's supposed to happen in just 8 or 9 months from now. And that is the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction. I've been really interested in this date for some time now, but world events were unraveling yet. I was looking at the date, and then when COVID-19 was announced to the world, I realized that COVID-19 was part of the story of this conjunction that's going to happen on December 21st, 2020, which is the very first day of winter, or the winter solstice. On the winter solstice at 12:08 p.m., the sun will cross from Sagittarius into Capricorn. And then Jupiter and Saturn will make a conjunction at 29 minutes Aquarius. This is the very first time these two planets have made a new moon. And when I say new moon, I mean it this way. Jupiter is a fast moving planet despite it being the largest planet in our solar system. How big is he? All the planets, excluding the sun, fit into Jupiter 2.5 times. Saturn is not nearly as big. And the weight of Saturn, even though Saturn is a big planet, the actual weight of Saturn is very similar to the Earth. Now, moving forward on this, the influences of this conjunction, or this new moon, has not started yet. We are still in the last 20-year cycle. These two planets are just cleaning house in Capricorn before they both move into Aquarius. Saturn is already there on the edge of Aquarius, but there will be a retrograde period that's coming up really quick here. They will linger in Capricorn for the remainder of this year until the 21st of December, when they both move forward into Aquarius, initiating the new 20-year cycle. So right now, all I beg for you, no matter what country you live in, no matter if you are suffering from the COVID-19 epidemic or pandemic or not, if you help cause the pandemic, or if you're suffering from the pandemic, each and every one of us has to focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's doing the right thing for the Father above. We are on His earth. Not one soul, not one species of creature that roams this planet created the sun, but the solar system creates all of our lives through a magical resonance and vibration of gravitational pull between these planets, and its the pressure it makes on the earth. Now, President Trump is going through a unique time, but he's not the very first president to go through such a cycle. In 1941, it was FDR. And then in 1961, it was JFK. And then in 1981, it was Ronald Reagan. And then in 2001, it was George W. Bush. They all had to deal with this new moon cycle. And I have all the charts put together here showing you how heaven is talking to us. Heaven wants us all to look up at the sky and realize the Father is looking down on all of us. And the sequence of events will bring us all closer to being one with what the solar system is doing. And what we all have to learn from, and how we all have to spiritually evolve from the sequence of events that are gripping the planet as it is right now. Now let me scroll up here. There's going to be 5 episodes of this report because there's 5 different presidents. We're going to start with this current president, and I want to show you this. This is the conjunction right here at Washington, D.C. for the December 21st date. Now I'm going to go up to the top, and we're going to look at the president in play, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a Gemini at 22 degrees, and he has an ascendant that's almost Virgo at 29.49 degrees Leo. He wants to be a Virgo ascendant, okay? Now, these are his planets of his birth, planetary placements. This is his natal chart. And my science, what I do is I look at the events that are occurring and how they are influencing not only his chart, but the chart of the United States when the country became a nation in Philadelphia on the 4th of July at 5:10 p.m. I'm going to scroll down through these. Now, this right here, the next chart after President Trump, is the COVID-19 chart. This was taken, I did this snapshot at midnight of December 31st. Now, this is very important to remember this part, folks. What is December 31st? You could all answer it with me. December 31st is New Year's Eve. December 31st is the last fiscal day of 2019. So we cannot help but observe that with this COVID-19 being announced to the world at large, that this is going to be a serious infliction for the entire planet to deal with for the entire year of 2020. China has played its card on December 31st. And they never ever thought, no one ever thought that somehow I would have the conviction to pull up this chart. I've been studying charts all my adult life, and I never thought ever that I would be giving this report as I am tonight. Now we're going to move to the next chart. We've looked at COVID-19. We'll go back, and when we look at Donald Trump, but we will see on the next chart how COVID-19 and Donald Trump are perfect partners. They're not the partners that he's not, COVID-19 is not a partner that Donald Trump ever thought he would have, but I'm going to show you how exact heaven is. Where this science came from, I still do not know. All I know is that every single major religion in the world, all goes back to the study of the heavens and the seasons. And it says in all texts that we should know the seasons and prepare for them. And this is a new season. This is a new 20-year cycle. Now, when we look at the sun of Donald Trump, we can see it's at 22 degrees Gemini. Now we look at the sun when COVID-19 was announced to the world, it's at 8 degrees Capricorn. What does that mean? Well, we'll look at this really quick here. I'm going to show you this. Here's the sun at 8 degrees Capricorn, and we go across, and what sign is opposed Capricorn? It's partner sign, the sign of home. And here we have Donald Trump's Mercury at 8 degrees 52 minutes, and the sun, once again, for COVID-19 is 8 degrees 39 minutes. This is a perfect opposition, folks. The likelihood of the sun being opposite to Donald Trump's Mercury. Now, if you're not familiar with Mercury in the birth chart, if you never looked at a birth chart before, I should say a natal chart or an event chart, because the COVID-19 chart is an event chart. It's a chart cast for a new entity and how that entity will affect the partner. So when we're looking at this, we have the sun perfectly opposite Donald Trump's Mercury. And what is Mercury? Mercury on planet Earth is our planet of communications, but most importantly, Mercury on planet Earth is our planet of finance and our economy. Mercury is our economical planet. It's our trading planet. We are all here trading subsoil wealth to exist yet another day on the planet, to trip around the sun yet another year. Now let's look at the moon. The moon in the spiritual and hospital sign of Pisces. And it's going to be here in Pisces, and the moon for Donald Trump is at 21 degrees Sagittarius. So there isn't a direct influence there, but Pisces is squared to Sagittarius. And Pisces, before Jupiter was discovered, Pisces was ruled by Jupiter. But now Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. Once again, we have Mercury. We're coming to Mercury now. I'm going to make this chart larger for us. Scrolling down. Okay, we're going to scroll down here so we can look at the numbers here. These are important numbers, folks. I didn't make any of this up, and I'm giving you you will have all the data here, so you can go and make a free chart for yourself and see that the numbers haven't been fudged here. So Mercury is at 2 degrees Capricorn. So what is Mercury being opposed to at 2 degrees Capricorn? It's going to be opposed Donald Trump's Mercury. And then when we have Jupiter there, Jupiter is down here at 6 degrees Capricorn. Jupiter is the planet of travel. It is opposed Donald Trump's Mercury. Okay, this is how it's working, folks. We have Mercury. Mercury also rules the lungs, folks. I'm not kidding about this. You can look up any of these statements. Everything I bear here is true. There is no bear false witness against any neighbor here. I am only putting reference of how the heavens has drawn Donald Trump's chart as our president in the United States, and how the COVID-19 cosmology has been created by the time they decided to announce it to the world. So we're going down to the next planet of interest here, Mars. Mars is at 27 degrees Scorpio. So when we look at Mars, what is Mars doing in the chart? Mars at 27 degrees Scorpio is perfectly squaring Donald Trump's Mars at 26 degrees Leo. I didn't make any of this up. And these are exact squares. The squares are so tight that these two events, or I should say Donald Trump's natal chart and this, was predestined. That's all I can say. When you look at all the charts I'm going to show you, they are all exact. Through every single present, the planetary conflict is exact, and we're not saying 5 degrees or 10 degrees exact. We're talking that one planet that means this is opposite one planet that means that in perfection. And these are messages from heaven. That's all I can say. Because only the Father draws perfection in such charts. Now we're going to look at Jupiter. We looked at Jupiter already, being perfectly opposite to Donald Trump's Mercury. Now we have Saturn. Saturn is at 21 degrees Capricorn. And look at this, folks. This is unbelievable. You're never going to believe this. I mean, it's unbelievable. Saturn here, which is the planet that rules China, Saturn is opposed Donald Trump's natal Saturn at 23 degrees Capricorn. Look at it, 23:49 minutes when he was born. And when we scroll down once again, if the right window will scroll down for me, here we go. 23:21. Now we're looking at Uranus, 17 degrees Gemini, and Uranus is now 2 degrees Taurus. So when we look at 2 degrees Taurus, Uranus, with Uranus being at 2 degrees Taurus, what is that playing on? It's going to be playing on, it's going to be very close to Donald Trump's Mercury once again. And it's going to have some connection to Neptune, but it's not going to be very strong. But yes, it's the Mercury again. It's this financial. Uranus rules electricity. Uranus rules unexpected and unpredictable events. Now we're going to go again. Now we'll look at Neptune now. Neptune is 5. Neptune is 5 right here. 5 degrees Libra. And with Neptune being 5 degrees Libra, and presently it's at 16 degrees Pisces. So, when we look at these planets right here, we have the Sun, Jupiter, and Mercury all squaring Donald Trump's planet Neptune. And Neptune rules hospitals as much as Neptune rules spirituality, as much as Neptune rules the fish that swim in the sea and liquid solutions and what have you. Neptune is also a planet of deception as well. Now, planets have positive rulerships and planets have negative rulerships. And the reason why I say this is because every single planet is in rebellion. There is a fixed rebellion of all the planets, and that rebellion creates planetary rotation. And the reason why is because every single planet wants to leave the solar system. All the gravities of every single planet or planets basically has lined up all the planets into a point around in an action around the sun where there's a resonance, and all these planets have found the resonance. If there wasn't Saturn, Jupiter would have been pulled right into the sun, and Jupiter would have been much closer to the sun. But Saturn was there, and Saturn's orbit keeps Jupiter in place, and that's why this conjunction between the two is like a tug of war, because Jupiter gets away from Saturn, or he gets out of alignment with Saturn, and he has a different influence. And then when he falls back in line with Saturn, whether it being a square or an opposition, it does something to all the other planets. And these two planets, and that's one of the reasons why these two planets are considered to be rulers of time on planet Earth. Now, I have lots of detailed information about all these planets. Let's take a look at Pluto here, even though Pluto is no longer considered a planet. Pluto is at 10 degrees Leo. See right there. And where is Pluto? Pluto, the planet of the underworld, which people say is just a planetoid, it doesn't really have any significance. But even the magnetics of Pluto has a game to play in this chart. And what is it? So Pluto's at 22 degrees Capricorn right now. It's a reforming planet. And Capricorn is where Jupiter and Saturn are right now. Saturn, as I said, has already made a move into Aquarius just for a short period of time, because these planets will go in retrograde motion, and when they're going forward, new items are being introduced. And when they go in retrograde, we all have to catch up, because COVID's been a nightmare since these planets been going forward. Okay, so when we look at Pluto, look what's opposed Pluto: Venus in Aquarius. And how exact is that one? Venus is at 12 degrees Aquarius, and Pluto is at 10 degrees Leo. So it's right across from each other. All these major playing planets are in direct line with each other. Now let's move forward here. Maybe I'm just making all this up. Maybe you could go out and do these charts on your own and find something completely different. But let's bring up another chart. Here's the Jupiter Saturn conjunction once again on its own. Okay, this is coming up. Now let's go to the next chart. This is Donald Trump's Equinox. And here we are with the Jupiter Saturn conjunction. There's yet another chart I want to show you here. You will notice there is a lot of red tape going on here. Now here we are. Is this the one I'm looking for? This is the New Year's. Okay. These are the two charts I'm looking for right now. Here it is. The big chart. This is it, right, folks. This is it right here. This is the birth chart of the United States. All the astrologers that I have looked at online, most of them agree that this is the proper chart for the United States. It makes sense to me. If you listen to the Star Spangled Banner, if you look at those lyrics, if you know anything about chart interpretation, this is a good chart for the United States. The land of the free and the brave. You read through that song, and if you know the signs, the land of the free, of course, Sagittarius. Sagittarians are free-minded people, so that makes good sense. And the brave, Cancers are incredibly brave creatures. Now let me show you this really quick here. We have to show you this. I want you to take note before I place the other chart on. We have the Sun at 13 degrees Cancer, Jupiter at 5 degrees Cancer, bang, and then we also have Venus at 3 degrees Cancer, and then we have Mars at 21 degrees. Now let's show you the next chart. Now look how the chart looks like it's just like lopsided on one side. It's looking for something to fit up against. Now let me show you the next chart. Declaration, here we are. We're going to show you Declaration of Independence again. This is the chart right here, folks. And this is the deal breaker right here. This is just one president. I guarantee you, when we go through the next 4 episodes of this series, of this greatest report ever created for Jupiter and Saturn in our modern time, and that's what this is. In much detail, I have looked at the events of this Jupiter Saturn New Moon in 1941, in 1961, 1981, in 2000, 2001, and now in 2020 and 2021. I've looked at all of these transits, and Donald Trump is not alone. Now look at this, folks. We're going to look at this really quick here. I'm going to go to the top again before we finish this off here. First off, once again, this is the official chart of the United States Declaration of Independence. And then we come down here and we look. Where is the sun? All these outer planets, I just want to show you the blue planets on the interior. The blue planets are the US. This is its natal chart of 5:10 p.m. on July 4th. Now here we are at the day. The day is December 31st, and COVID-19 has been reported from Wuhan, China, as the sickness of the year. So where is the sun? The sun for the US chart is at 13 degrees, and the sun is opposing the US sun. It's an opposition. I mean, you can't get away from it. Then we look at the moon at 27 degrees Aquarius. Here it is. And where is the moon? I mean, the moon is at 0 degrees Pisces. It's right there. And this is the Pisces rules the hospital. Neptune is at home in Pisces. You see that there? The moon is lined right up. And the moon in this chart is going to be squaring right there. It's going to be squaring that Mars, right? The moon is square to Mars, right? So, but most importantly, let's take a look. Let's go through this as a professional. Mercury is the next planet to look at. 24 degrees Cancer is Mercury in the US chart. And Mercury is sitting here in Capricorn, opposed to Cancer. Then we're moving down to Venus, 12 degrees Aquarius. Venus is at 12 degrees Aquarius. Here we are at Venus, 12 degrees Aquarius. And what are we looking at? Leo. The north node of the US chart is at 6 degrees. The incarnation of the US is at 6 degrees Leo, opposed Venus in Aquarius. What's the likelihood? Now we're looking at Saturn. Saturn, which is the natural ruler of Libra. This is Libra right here. Libra is ruled by both Venus and Saturn. Saturn is the basket that brings form to the fruit and weighs the fruit. Venus is the fruit. The sun starts collecting this energy from the sun in the sun sign Taurus. It catches that chlorophyll and it turns that chlorophyll into fruit. Then we harvest the fruit, and while the sun is in Libra, and we harvest it, we weigh it, and that's Saturn. Saturn is the Grim Reaper. Saturn takes a sickle. He takes his sickle to the fruit, carries the fruit to the market, and the fruit is weighed for its value. Okay, this is Saturn and Venus working together. And we have Saturn at 21 degrees Capricorn. Here we are, the Grim Reaper, 21 degrees Capricorn. And where is it sitting from? It's sitting right across the US. The US is Mercury at 24 degrees. And once again, folks, what does Mercury rule? The US has a Mercury retrograde. So what does Mercury rule again? Mercury rules the lungs. Okay, Mercury rules finance. Mercury rules the banks, trading. Um, we are all here doing the earth trade. This is what we do on the planet. We harvest subsoil wealth and we trade it amongst each others. And when we can't trade harmoniously with each other and we cannot realize that we're all on the same planet, we fight over the trade. Now, when we look at now we go further into this report, we have Uranus at 2 degrees. Uranus is at 2 degrees Taurus once again, and 2 degrees Taurus. So what's at 2 degrees? Uranus is going to be making an aspect to the US Venus, the US Jupiter. Jupiter is a travel planet for everybody. Venus. In the solar system, Jupiter is like our great uncle, and Venus is like our great aunt. When I look at Christmas, I kind of think of Christmas, the tree is like Saturn, because Saturn is the structure of the tree that holds all the decorations of the tree. And underneath the tree, we find presents and gifts. And I kind of look at those presents and gifts as Jupiter. But when we open the presents up and we look at them and we have to take care of them, the care of the presents is Saturn. That's how those two work together, and that's and we have Jupiter, which is Sagittarius, next to Capricorn, which is the month and day that we celebrate Christmas on. Okay, so while the sun is in Jupiter, we're rushing around, we're traveling around, we're looking for presents, we are wrapping presents, we are hiding them, and then when the sun goes into Capricorn, we take the scissors or whatever it is, the sharp objects, and we take the wrapping paper off and we look at the presents. So the gift that Wuhan had for us for the new year is COVID-19. And now we have to take care of it. This is the Saturn, if you understand where my drift. Finally, we have Pluto in Capricorn at 27 degrees. Okay, Pluto's right here, 27 degrees. And this Pluto and Saturn, as I said before, see, when COVID was released, Jupiter and Mercury. Mercury is like Jupiter's best friend. Jupiter rules long distance travel, okay? Where Mercury rules short distance travel. And Mercury rules your fingers at the keyboard. But the electricity going through the computer and the data leaving the computer going to a satellite, that's Uranus, okay? I'm trying to be as direct and as simple as possible describing these things to you because not everyone knows this. But look at this. Pluto and Saturn are together right here. Pluto's at 22 degrees. Saturn's at 21 degrees. It's a perfect conjunction, and they're both sitting across from the US's Mercury. And what has this caused? Saturn is the planet of limitations. When the river flows down the riverbed, the shape of the riverbed is Saturn. The seashore is Saturn. The mountain range is Saturn. And whatever moves along those forms, that's what Saturn does. He brings form to things. The other way to look at Saturn is the basement, or Saturn is the morgue, or Saturn is the cross we have to carry. Because it's our life's work. That's what we're here. We have to make our way through this life by the sweat of our brow with our career. And that is Saturn. And Pluto once again is a reforming planet. So folks, this has been the first chart. I've tried to keep this as easy to understand as possible. And I hope this signals home to you, and I hope that you share this with like-minded individuals, because how the other four presidents and their experience with the Jupiter and Saturn new moon in their different time periods are all very similar to this. Cycles do happen over and over again, but we're in a solar system that's forever spiraling and becoming more of what we are. Look, folks, I appreciate you stopping by for this, and thank you for your support. And this is important data, folks. What we all have to do is the right thing. We all have to realize that the Father, the Divine Father, and the Divine Mother are both here with us, and they're imploring that humanity act as good stewards and to look after the health of this planet and to bring the suffering to an end. All the best, and thank you very much for joining me tonight. I'll see you on the next episode of the United States Presidents and Jupiter and Saturn New Moons. All the best.